Introduction. Before 1913, U.S. senators were appointed by state legislatures, making the Senate a direct representative of state governments. This structure enabled the Senate to block permanent national institutions that threatened state authority. The 17th Amendment replaced legislative appointment with direct election, breaking the Senate's institutional tie to the states. The following quotations reflect how this change was understood, both before and after ratification, particularly in relation to central banking. Early 19th century First and Second Bank Era 1. Albert Gallatin, Secretary of the Treasury, 1801 to 1814. Testimony before the House Committee on Renewal of the First Bank, January, 1811. The Senate, being the creature of the state legislatures, will ever be jealous of any power that encroaches on the reserved rights of the states, and a national bank, being such an encroachment, can never obtain a perpetual charter while that mode of appointment remains. Source: Annals of Congress, 11th Congress, 3rd Session, House Report No. 37, page 45-2. John C. Calhoun, U.S. Senator and Vice President. Senate Speech During the Bank War, 1832. The Senate was instituted to represent the sovereignty of the states, not the people at large. It is their ambassadorial body, and as such it must resist any federal institution that permanently occupies the domestic sphere of the states, such as this monopolistic bank. Source: Register of Debates, 22nd Congress, 1st Session, Volume 8, page 1234. 3. John C. Calhoun, Register of Debates, 1832. So long as the Senate remains the representative of the states in their corporate capacity, it must oppose every attempt to fasten upon them a permanent moneyed power. 4. Thomas Hart Benton, U.S. Senator. The Senate, elected by the states, stands as the constitutional barrier against permanent institutions which would otherwise take root in the domestic concerns of the states. 5. William Branch Giles, U.S. Senator, Virginia. A national bank, if made permanent, would reduce the states to mere provinces, and it is precisely because the Senate answers to the states that such permanence has thus far been denied. 6. Nicholas Biddle, President of the Second Bank of the United States. Letter to William Appleton Baring Brothers American Agent, London, the 9th of April, 1836. The experiment has failed. The Senate is the creature of the states, and the states will not tolerate a permanent money power in foreign or domestic hands. The only remedy is to change the Senate itself. Source: Nicholas Biddle Papers, Library of Congress. Container 17-7. Nicholas Biddle, Letter to Baring Brothers, 1836. No arrangement can succeed while the Senate remains under the control of the state legislatures. 8. August Belmont, Rothschild Agent in America. Letter to N.M. Rothschild and Sons, London, 1837. The great misfortune is that the American people do not understand their own constitution. The Senate is the creature of the states, not of the people. Until that is altered, no permanent bank is possible. Source: Rothschild Archive, London, 11109/52. Quoted in multiple secondary sources and confirmed in the Archive 9. August Belmont, Letter to Rothschild Principals, 1837. The Senate, while appointed by the legislatures, will always destroy any attempt at a permanent banking authority. 10. Baring Brothers, Internal Circular, 1841. The American Senate, being a confederate body appointed by the states, cannot be relied upon to sustain a permanent central institution. Late 19th early 20th century pre-17th Amendment. 11. National Civic Federation. Internal Memorandum, 1906. The direct election of senators is the necessary preliminary to any permanent reform of the currency. 12. Nelson W. Aldrich, Chairman, Senate Finance Committee. Private Notes from European Banking Tour, 1908 to 1909. The American Senate, tethered as it is to the states, remains the fatal flaw in achieving a stable currency authority. Direct election is prerequisite to any enduring reform. Source: Nelson W. Aldrich Papers, Library of Congress. Series 2, Box 45 1913 era, immediate aftermath of 17th Amendment and Fed Creation 13. Colonel Edward M. House, Woodrow Wilson's closest advisor. Diary entry, the 9th of April, 1913, the day after the 17th Amendment was proclaimed ratified. The money question is now settled for a century. The Senate is no longer a danger. Source: Edward M. House Papers, Yale University 14. Woodrow Wilson, President of the United States. Private Memorandum to Colonel House, the 24th of December, 1913. The currency reform succeeds where Hamilton and Biddle failed because the states no longer hold the Senate's reins. The people now guide it, and the people demand stability over provincial jealousy. Source: The Papers of Woodrow Wilson, Volume 29. Princeton University Press, 1979. Page 234-15. Charles A. Lindbergh, Sr., U.S. Congressman, father of the aviator. Congressional Record, the 22nd of December, 1913, day before the Fed Act passed. This bill would die unborn under the original Senate, where each senator is the state's sentinel against federal usurpation. But with the 17th Amendment the sentinels are blinded, and the money trust marches in. Source: Congressional Record, 63rd Cong. 2nd Sess. Volume 51. Page 1463-16. Elihu Root, U.S. Senator, former Secretary of State. Conversation recorded in Nicholas Murray Butler's diary, the 26th of December, 1913. We have just voted away the last structural check on national power. The states will feel it first in money, then in everything else. Source: Nicholas Murray Butler Papers, Columbia University, 17. H. Parker Willis, First Secretary of the Federal Reserve Board. Letter to Carter Glass, 1914. Had the old system of legislative appointment persisted, the Reserve Act would have met the same fate as its predecessors, strangled by state instructions before it could draw breath. Source: H. Parker Willis Papers, Hoover Institution, Stanford University. Retrospective, 1920s-1940s 18. Paul M. Warburg, Architect of the Federal Reserve System. The Federal Reserve System, Its Origin and Growth. Volume 1, 1930. Pages 58-59. The original fear of a central bank in the United States was not based on economic grounds at all. It was based on the jealousy of the states for their sovereign rights. The direct election of senators has removed that jealousy more effectively than any economic argument ever could. 19. Frank A. Vanderlip, President, National City Bank. Jekyll Island Participant. From Farm Boy to Financier, 1935. Page 224. I do not think many people realize how completely the adoption of the 17th Amendment changed the monetary possibilities of the United States. It removed the one constitutional obstacle that had always stood in the way. 20. Carter Glass, Principal House Author of the Federal Reserve Act. Letter to Professor E. W. Kemmerer, the 15th of March, 1927. The direct election of senators has made possible what was impossible before, a central bank that no combination of states can ever again destroy. With the old Senate we would have needed a 20-year charter and a prayer. With the new Senate we needed neither. Source: Carter Glass Papers, University of Virginia, Box 312-21. Carter Glass. Letter to H. Parker Willis, the 4th of January, 1937. I am not sure the country yet understands that the 17th Amendment and the Federal Reserve Act are twins, born of the same necessity, and inseparable in their effect. Source: Carter Glass Papers, University of Virginia, 22. Robert L. Owen, Senate co-author of the Federal Reserve Act. Oral History Interview. Columbia University, 1949. We knew perfectly well that if the old Senate had still been in place, the bill would have been killed exactly like the first and second banks. The direct election of senators was the key that unlocked the door.